asking you guys, you're selling the 2023 season. What are you selling and how far down the list till you get to Dak?
I mean, it might be pretty high up on the list, higher than you think.
Okay.
Because there is, I think that, and I was listening to Broadus talk a little bit this morning when he was on with Sean and RJ and Bobby, and he was saying that everything that came out of Senior Bowl told them that they had not decided some things on personnel. Is that what you were saying, Broadus?
Absolutely. They haven't had that meeting yet.
Yeah. So that kind of helps me understand a little more of where Jerry is in that. I think one of the things that is kind of exciting is whoever the play caller will be, how quickly they can get on the same page, and can they be better than he and Kellen Moore were. That's where I can get excited, but I think it would be in the top 5, but I don't think it's number 1 at all.
Here's how I agree with Jerry Jones on selling Dak, but he wouldn't say it this way. We're not in the AFC. We'd have to get a different quarterback. If Dak was in the AFC, he's not good enough and never will be. He cannot compete with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. And even if you even look at Lamar Jackson, I think that's where Baltimore's going, crap. We have a good quarterback, but there's 5 guys, and I didn't mention Joe Burrow. Like, there's 5 guys that are just the future Hall of Fame quarterbacks of the NFL are all in the AFC.
It appears that way for sure.
But selling Dak, I'm selling Dak against, I guess, Trey Lance, against Jalen Hurts, who, look, right now Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott. He kind of this year has jumped over Dak Prescott. But Aaron Rodgers has a pretty crappy team in Green Bay.
Yeah.
There's nothing right now in the South. I mean, if Tom Brady's done and he's not coming back, and he even struggled at the end when you killed him in the playoffs. Like,
I was listening the other day to G-Bag when they did ranking the playoff losers, and they had Tampa ahead of the Cowboys, and I was like, what?
Oh.
What? With what?
But I just think Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts are the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFC. Now, they are in the same division, which kind of stinks for you a little bit, but the NFC quarterbacks are average and maybe a little bit above average, but there's not a good quarterback crop in the NFC. So maybe selling Dak is, hey, Dak still is, he might be the 9th best quarterback in the NFL, but that makes him the 2nd best quarterback in the NFC.
He sells Parsons is what he does.
Yes.
And the fact that Dan Quinn didn't leave.
Those are 2 of my 3. I have one other, but you're spot on.
That's, I think, the first thing. I think the second thing he sells is, listen, we've got a young team. We've got the emergence. We've proved, and I know that everybody is on me about we moved on from Amari Cooper, whether you liked it or not. I think that you saw by CeeDee Lamb getting more opportunities, and he got a lot of targets this year, that you see this as a bona fide first a number 1 wide receiver.
There's number 3 is Broadus. I'm not kidding you. In order, mine were Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, the return of Dan Quinn. Like, those all seem more exciting.
You're just wrong.
Okay, hold on. You can counterpoint just 1 second. Is Micah Parsons going to be 2nd defensive player of the year for, I believe, the 2nd straight year? CeeDee Lamb has now emerged to be a bona fide 1, and he was 2nd team All-Pro. And then everybody loves Dan Quinn, and it looked like he wasn't going to make it through a 2nd coaching cycle without being picked up. And
if you really believe it too, though, I mean, you could also sell the fact that that Mike McCarthy is going to call the plays. Now, you sell it as a way like, okay, for all you that kind of want to see maybe Dak a different play caller and all that, the head coach is going to take over the play calling. That could be something else that you could sell. That if you want to see if Dak can, and I hate the word develop. I mean, develop is the right way. Evaluate's the word I hate the most because we're in year 8.
Too far.
We're way too far.
Yeah.
You're evaluating Tyler Smith. Is what you're doing. You're evaluating him. But Dak Prescott, you're trying to fix in a way of, and I mean fix in a way of the mistakes, the interceptions and things like that. Maybe you could help Dak too with his understanding of the game as far as what he's seeing. Maybe Mike McCarthy can help him with that.
The Mike, I think, is the consensus number 1 to sell.
Sure.
Like the dude's personality on and off the field. There's all sorts of things about him.
Big Eagles fan.
The only correct number 2, though.
I like the Eagles, too.
Broadus, what did you have at number 2?
Well, Don Henley and
the band.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Hell freezes over, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
What did you say was number 2, Broadus?
I had number 2 was Dan Quinn.
Okay, both of those are incorrect. The next thing to sell is the draft pick. Whoever the number one draft pick is for them. That's what the Cowboys thrive on. All right.
And that is the correct answer.
That is the correct.
Okay.
I appreciate y'all's lists.
Okay, well, would you consider what Jerry said about the maybe opening things up with the checkbooks and stuff like that? Because Jerry was kind of talking about. I kind of see what the last 2 years have done with the Rams and then also with the Eagles. I could see going out and I could see how somebody would like to do that. And if I feel like that's what we need to do, we'll do. At least he's admitting that these other teams might do it differently than what he does, that he's open to the idea. Maybe you sell fans that, hey, this is Stephen Jones always says this is a 24/7 job. Well, okay, if you do things like that, it really, really is a 24/7 job.
Yeah, no, using that, I think we call it the third arm. That's the third arm they don't use.
Harden?
No, I'm sorry, hold on.
I call that something different. But
it's the third arm of the law or something like that. They don't use it enough. They use it for every once in a while. Never mind.
Corey, I'm usually there for you. I'm not entirely sure I'm familiar with that phrasing.
But yeah, no, I think that's the Cowboys. What are you going to be excited about going into next season? You're going to be excited about Micah and whoever the pick is. It doesn't matter. Even Tyler Smith, people were like, "Oh man, the possibilities with Tyler Smith." We were excited about that. So that is a reality. CeeDee Lamb is third for me, then Quinn, then Dak and the new coordinator. But I could also bump that out and put Diggs and Bland ahead of Dak Prescott and the new coordinator.
What pick would make you excited about the Dallas Cowboys? Not the player, just the position.
I have to change my answer then because I had a very specific player in mind that I know is risky, but
the position you say?
Yeah, just give me a position. If you're Jerry Jones and like to your point, you're selling, hey, we're picking here at 26, but we kind of feel like there's a guy there. And they're always going to say that, but if they drafted this particular position, this would make you feel really, really good about their chances.
Edge.
Cornerback or receiver.
Linebacker actually is something that I'm interested in still because I don't know what their decision with LVE is, and I don't know how much they think Clark progressed this year. And
not enough.
The way you're working with Micah, you need now. He's not a linebacker anymore. Use him more. Go find another linebacker, and then that group is going to be a lot of fun. So I think still linebacker
like Trenton
for me.
Simpson of Clemson,
good player.
I was looking at a mock draft.
Okay, all right.
No,
he's right around that pick.
Oh, is he right around the pick?
If you like a linebacker, at least that's the linebacker around that pick.
Yeah, I was looking at that Drew Sanders kid from Arkansas.
Yeah, Sanders is a guy that you would. Sanders has also got the ability to rush from Arkansas. Yeah.
He's fast. He's fast, long, has a lot of really cool things that you like about him. So like that is a position cornerback I'm interested in, but I feel like they've might force the Joseph and Wright thing a little more again, one more time.
You didn't think that was awesome?
I don't know, man.
Oh, you don't think it's going to be awesome this year?
You got Lewis coming back, so like you can hope on that. You got Bland, you feel pretty good there. But but cornerbacks are like starting pitchers, Mike, where you need a bunch of them to start and make it through a season. So that's where, when it comes to cornerbacks, maybe another receiver would be exciting too. Obviously, Bijan Robinson's the first.
That's right.
That's kind of where I was saying. If you went out there and you drafted him at 26, it's not like taking him at 4. It's like taking him at 26. If your situation with the running backs is you've moved on from Zeke, you don't think you're going to get Pollard done, and you take a running back at 26. You can get this fan base excited, I believe.
I agree, especially that specific running back, because this state knows him so well. Like, I know all the hype was on Quinn Ewers. The reason that team went anywhere was Bijan Robinson this year.
Never mind. I want to ask this question, but it's not because of the way Dan Quinn does set up his defense. Somebody just said Micah Parsons should be a 3-4 edge. But they run so many variants of defense. And I heard you being asked by Choppy this morning, and me and Kevin have had this conversation with you before. TCU kind of changed the way they approach defense, and this year was actually bad, but the way they approach defense was they're running a bunch of light guys out there that can run.
Sure.
So we have to be able to run a bunch of guys that can run out there too, instead of saying, hey, we're going to be stuck in this 4-3 type defense. We have to be able to be flexible too. And I do wonder how much Dan Quinn looks at it and says, okay, I got to keep adjusting to this, or if he's just like, no, we call what we call.
Yeah, the thing about it is you've always got to be able to have personnel that can morph in and out of fronts. They got in trouble with the running game, and what did they do? They got better, really. When Brown got hurt, They got better tacklers out there. I know with Diggs, it was a little bit of a struggle for him, but Wilson developed. Curse was banged up, but he did a nice job. They go out and they get Hankins. You know, they did a much better job of playing the run after initially not looking very good at it.
Would an excitement if they loaded up on offense in the draft this year? Would that excite you? Or would you say, no, I want my defense to be even better?
I mean, sure, I agree with that second part. But if talent evaluations happen 24/7, why can't we do both? I think it's
spring break.
It feels just easier.
Always gets in the way.
It feels easier to sell offense than it does defense, right? Like you mentioned Hankins. I don't feel like people are like, oh my God. But if you got like a wide receiver who gave you about the same thing, think about how much freaking hype was on James Washington. And he's a guy. And then with Jonathan Hankins, people are like, who the hell is that? So
they draft Robinson in this draft. It turns into a CeeDee Lamb situation where all of a sudden they're sitting there and Bijan Robinson's sitting on that board and they look at themselves and they go, you know what? We can't pass this guy. But a lot has to do with what happens with the running back situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely.